Man. Um Yeah, that's what it is right there. Tomatoes. Booze and tomatoes. Um before I get started, let me know if the audio's good. Let me know if the visual's good. New York Giants do this Sunday night in front of the whole world. Yes, not good. Hold on, I gotta get a little bit of music going in there, man. Like, where do we go from here, man? Where do we go from here? You know what, man? I'm good. Let me know if I'm good. Tomatoes for sure. Tomatoes for sure. Boo. Audio. Okay, thank you for letting me know the audio. What we saw tonight. What we saw tonight. What we were all present for was a funeral. A funeral for not only the New York Giants in this 2025 season. It was a funeral of Russell Wilson. It's over. It's over for Russ. It's over for us at this point in time. Starting 0-3, we got the Chargers next week, Saints after that. I don't think they're waiting. I don't think they're going to wait any longer. Um, Again, last week seemed more and more flukish now after seeing what happened this week. And the crazy thing about it is they just lingered. Like it wasn't even like the Kansas City Chiefs went out there and just beat us up. We forced them to field goals for the most part. We couldn't do anything on offense, man. So week 1, offense let us down. Week 2, the defense let us down. Week 3, the offense let us down again. And what's going on, man? I can't even, like, in all honesty, it was a couple plays. I see you saying fire Bowen. I can't even, like, fire everybody. First of all, fire everybody. Fire everybody. There's I can't even pinpoint who to blame. Actually, I can. Shout out to my man Ryan, man. He said start Dart next week. I'm so done with this coaching staff, man. Listen, the bad thing about that is this though. Like I'm with you guys. Start Dart for sure, but you're still going to start Dart behind this offensive line, which I think there were some times where he had the chance to throw the ball. I don't know what Russ was doing. We're gonna break it down like this. So I'll start off like this, man. Before I get to the end, like we already know, it's tomatoes for the Giants. They got booed in the red zone. Your team is in the red zone. It's third down, and you're getting booed. You threw Dart out there for shits and giggles for the most part. Why are we even playing around, man? Why are we even playing around? That's a fact, Mark. Mark said it's called bad coaching. Playing Dart won't solve anything. O-line was decent. Yeah, the O-line was decent. And you, like, I was standing there like Dart in front of my television, helmet on, ready to go. And they gave us nothing. Sunday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs, they weren't even playing well. And this is what you rolled out. From jump, you showed that you were scared of the Chiefs. And the crazy thing about it is we were able to run the ball a little bit starting off. But then we just ran the ball like crazy the first drive. Like we were scared to throw the ball. I don't know, man. But I do know this much. We closed the casket on Russell Wilson today. We watched Russell Wilson jump into his own grave and pour dirt on himself tonight. That's what we saw. Russell Wilson made the decision as easy as possible next week. There's no doubt in my mind that the Dart era does start next week versus the Chargers, because what do you have to lose? I was like, maybe we start Dart against the Saints, little softer competition. Well, no, it's no need. Just throw Dart right into the fire. Andrew Thomas looked good enough to go. We need to figure out what the best, the best lineup's going to be on the offensive line moving forward. Bo got in there today. Bo had some bad snaps. I got to go back and watch it again. But, Karlaftis, Jones, those are different animals than what, Dallas threw out there last week. But we we really saw the end of Russell Wilson today. We really saw the end. And here's the thing, too. I see a lot of people talking about the secondary. At the end of the day, it's still Patrick Mahomes out there. He was making some crazy throws, some crazy plays, and his wide receivers were just, right there. Like even on the plays where Phillips had good coverage, he was still getting beat. The ball placement was just immaculate. And that's why you take advantage when it's time to take advantage. As I said, please bring back DJ. DJ ain't coming back. Instead of DJ, we got JD, Jackson Dart. That's what it is right now. My man RHD Tech, he said secondary was so bad. And it's crazy too because it was so the beginning was crazy. Like 6 at some like what? 6-6. At the end of the day, we go into the half. It was a 9-6 game. And you telling me 2025 first game at home, Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. This is what you conjure up. Dable is cooked, man. Dable is cooked. Wilson is cooked. And then all of a sudden, when everything else fails, he tried to go back into the well and try to chuck it up to Malik Nabers. He almost got Malik Nabers like injured today. I wanted to say the K word, but you can't even say that on YouTube. But what are we doing, man? Something like I need to, when I wake up in the morning, I need to hear something tomorrow. I Giants fans, and it's crazy that we're saying this already. We need that pound of flesh, man. Shout out to my man Word XXI with the $1.99 super chat. He says if DJ was on this team still, he wouldn't be 3-0. That's a fact. It's deeper than just Daniel Jones, man. We're seeing that. We're seeing it. 0550 197 with the $5 super chat says Dart can't save this team. In your opinion, does the whole staff get fired or just Dable? You talking about right now at the end of the season? I think they got a clean house, man. I think they got a clean house. This like the Chiefs wasn't even looking like the Chiefs. That's the part that gets me. 6-6 in the second quarter. How does Graham Gano get hurt in the warm-ups? How about that part? How about that surprise? I'm hearing that kickoff that all of a sudden Graham Gano gets hurt. I'm like, wait a minute, what? When did he get hurt? 36 years old, hurt himself during warm-ups. Graham Gano got to go. Gano's got to go. Go ahead and, like, whatever you need to do, get Graham Gano out of here, man. This is the third year in a row. The third year in a row that he's hurt himself. And this time, it wasn't even during a play. If you're getting hurt during warm-ups, it's time to wrap it up. It's time to wrap it up. It's time to pack your bag, and it's time to go home. And then you run the Scottish Ham out there for the extra point, and that gets blocked. The momentum was gone. And I'll say this too, though. I'll say this too about the Giants fans at the stadium, because I can't even imagine what it felt like in the stadium. But the way that they was booing, like to boo your own team when it's in the red zone, they still got a chance to score a touchdown. You already know the team is fed up, or the fans are fed up. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Hold on, let me get this switch so the comments are going to be on the bottom of the screen for people that are putting those comments out, man. It's a lot to try to keep up with right now. Man, but yeah. So where do we go from here? That's the question, man. 98 so I see it. Tomatoes again, man. Tomatoes again. Brian Flores was his name. Mark Thompson said Chiefs got it right in the second half. There is enough talent on this team that the results should be better. That's the crazy part about it, man. Like that was your game plan. Your game plan was to run the ball against the Chiefs. That's your game plan when we can't even really run the ball like that. And if it wasn't for Scatterbull in his second, third, fourth effort, we don't even have the touchdown that we do have. Stephen R. says Dex needs to demand a trade. Somebody find me Dexter Lawrence. Have you seen him? Did you see Dexter Lawrence today? You tell me if you saw Dexter Lawrence. I ain't seen Dexter Lawrence in 3 weeks. You let me know what happened to Dexter Lawrence. I'm seeing him getting blocked in one-on-ones. One-on-ones. Strider, man. Strider says, where'd it go? Where you at, Strider? Strider said, Dex was bad today. Dex ain't been Dex since the season started. We ain't seen Dex since last year. Put it that way. Last season is the last time we saw Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, I saw that, Shaq. Shaq, I saw it when you said the dash. You called it last night. Nah, you called it last night. Yeah, you did. Dex. The funny thing is this too, man. I talked about Abdul Carter playing off ball, right? And he played off ball today, right? And then you saw him play the edge a little bit. You saw him still get used the same way. So I'm not totally mad at that. But we missed a lot of plays. That one 70-yard pass interference, Abdul Carter got to make that tackle on Patrick Mahomes. Like it's a lot of disappointing plays that happen out there. I need Carter in the gym. He got to hit the weights. We saw it today. A team that was trash. They let Pacheco get started a little bit. That's a fact, Aaron. They put Hyatt in the game for no reason at the end. Maybe Slayton got hurt. Maybe Slayton got hurt, and that's what happened. But if I'm Hyatt, I'm not even running out there for that. Shaq said, Dash, why are they teasing? Hold on, where'd it go? Why are they teasing Jackson Dart? Nah, that's a fact, man. I think it's over now. And the crazy thing about it is this: when they go to the podium, they're gonna say, "Oh, we had a great week of practice. We got to play better than that. We got to perform better than that. We got to coach better." They're gonna hit you with the same stuff that they've been telling you forever. We're not trying to hear it anymore. The results ain't resulting. My man Strider says, Big Dash, Drew Phillips ain't a superstar DB. So says Giants, Chode Sports Elite. The penalized 3 times, got picked apart. He sucks. I'm going to push back just a little bit. Again, we talking about a slot receiver covering somebody way downfield. And again, he got beat tonight. He got beat tonight on some really good throws. Really good throws. Carl Banks about to talk. Let me know what Carl Banks says. Where's he at? He live right now? Sydney Age, what's going on? Sydney says, Brian Dable 2025. I got to watch the tape. That's hilarious. Yes, I got to go back and watch. You don't need to watch the tape. It was horrible. The game plan was horrible. The effort was horrible. The execution was horrible. Even when Russell Wilson had time, nobody was open downfield. The route concepts were horrible. I watched Russell Wilson bounce the ball off the crossbar on 4th and goal. Giants post game live. That's a fact. Listen, it is what it is. I gotta vent myself. Kylo says we saw a gunner before Hyatt. I said in the stands. That's crazy, man. Danny boy, that's a fact. Like, how do you go out there on Sunday Night Football and do that in the home opener? All the little bit of hope that people had left. The little bit of hope that people had left off of watching the offense play last week, all that hope is gone. So there's no more going back to Russ. I hope they understand that. There's no more going back to Russ. You gotta go to Dart now. And the crazy thing about it is I don't know what to expect from Dart because the offense looks so bad. The play calling is bad. The scheming is bad. We got to clean house. No, that's a fact, man. That's crazy. It's the third week of the season. We didn't even make it to October yet. We didn't even make it to October yet. And look how we're feeling right now. It's not even October yet. I don't know, man. Somebody, Greg said it's time for Jameis. Nah, they not. It's not time for Jameis. They going right to Jackson Dart now. I hope they don't ruin Jackson Dart. Mickey X says, yeah, Mickey X says Dallas is bad. Yeah. If we looked like that against Dallas, and we saw Dallas today too, it's bad. And if Dallas is bad, we are bad. That's where I'm at right now. Shout out to Loose Benz with the $4.99 super chat. He says refs killed the moment illegal shift on 18. Yeah, that was horrible too. Holding on the last big play from the Chiefs. I think the NFL wants Dable fired for chewing out the refs. Listen, it's over. Said fire Mara. Listen, Mara ain't giving it. Mara gonna hold on to this team for dear life because he has nothing else to hold on to. All of these other owners have something else to hold on to. They got other businesses that are happening. They got real estate and all this other stuff. John Mara is a football guy and football only. Once you take the Giants away from him, it's over for him. He's not letting that happen, man. LeBron, that's a fact. LeBron said, I'm tired of losing, man. That's what it is, man. Everybody's tired of losing, man. And it's not just about losing. It's losing the way that we lose. We look horrible. Horrible. When we lose, it is the worst thing. But it don't even look like football. It doesn't even look like the NFL when the Giants lose. And again, tell me what the Chiefs did that was spectacular today. You tell me what the Chiefs did. Outside of that big throw to Thornton, what did the Chiefs do that was spectacular today? They still look pedestrian. You ain't got to tell me Dable is trash. I'm right back in the same boat that I was in January now. Right back to where I was at in January. Somebody else got to step in and do the hiring. If they're going to clean out the regime, somebody else got to come in and hire the next GM and the head coach. Somebody was saying that on one of these YouTube videos that I was watching, saying if they do make a change, the New York Giants need to hire an independent consulting company, and they need to go ahead and make the next hires. But they won't, Dash. But they won't, though, Dash. That's a fact. That's a fact. Danny Boy says, "Are we getting big bad Dash?" Listen, I might be there, man. I might be there already. I think I am there, man. So let me get back to Malik Neighbors, non-factor today. Wan'Dale Robinson outside of that big catch, non-factor. The tight ends, non-factor. The offense as a whole. The only person I know that showed up today was Cam Scatterbull. Cam Scatterbull was the only one that knew that a game was being played tonight. And the whole team can't feed off of Cam Scatterbull's energy. Well, I should say the whole offense can't feed off of Cam Scatterbull's energy. Yes, that's another thing. Thank you for pointing that out. Seth Dawkins says Bobby didn't fall on the ball. Listen. That right there. That's when you kind of knew. Pause. What I say? Let me know what I said. I'm my bad. Like Bobby not falling on the ball, that game. I'm sorry, that play. Let me know that this game it was something else happening. It was some mysterious things happening. Because how do you not get that scoop and score? And then also outside of that, how in that situation, how do you let Patrick Mahomes get the ball back? I'm there now, McCann, I'm there now. It says Bobby is terrible. We saw a few funerals tonight. We saw a few funerals. We saw the funeral of Russell Wilson. We saw the funeral of Brian Dable, most likely, in my opinion. I'm curious to see what happens. I'm curious to see if Tony Pauline was right. Hold on a second. O'Hara actually said the Giants are not a bad team. Oh, you talking about in the post game? I can't listen to that stuff, man. Listen, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Any kind of spin that they're trying to make from the Giants media people and that's Sean O'Hara. Listen, no, we're a bad team. We're absolutely a bad team. We might have a couple of good players. We might have a collection of good players, but we are absolutely a bad team. That's what the New York Giants are, a collection of good players that make a bad team. This is coaching, man. It's absolutely down to the coaching, because earlier today, I got the chance to watch Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts go 3-0. 3-0. Got a chance to see the Colts go 3-0. It kind of feels the same as last year when Saquon went to the Philadelphia Eagles and had all that success after leaving the Giants. And now we're seeing the same thing with Daniel Jones. And the crazy thing about it is, I said, you know what, I'm not going to go crazy over the Daniel Jones thing because it's still early in the season. But no, it's no sugarcoating it. There's no hiding it. There's no trying to step around it. Daniel Jones is playing well with the Indianapolis Colts because the coaching is better over there. It's better. Ben Bredeson is the starting center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and playing well. Why? Because the coaching is better over there. We thought, what's his name? We thought Bobby Johnson was the problem, and we fired him. And he went to Washington, and look how Washington is doing. People leave the Giants and do better. That's what it is right now. And it's not just this regime. It's the last few regimes. I thought the Coughlin curse was over. I'm finding out that the Coughlin curse is still alive and well. Still alive and well. Shout out to Mr. What with the $1.99 super chat. He says, Tim from Online Big Blue was right about everything. Looks like it. It looks like it. Joseph Wilcox, what's going on, Joe, man? I'm sorry you had to stay up and watch that, Joe. I'm sorry you had to stay up and watch that. He says, Okereke let Mahomes steal that ball. That was weak. That play could have changed the whole game. That's a fact. That's when I knew, Joe. That's when I knew. When I saw that, listen, I usually watch these games by myself, right? My whole family was on the couch today. And every time the New York Giants did something stupid, nobody wanted to say anything, but I felt everybody's eyes looking at me. Nobody wanted to say anything to me. Nobody wanted to make any comments, but they just looked at me because they knew that I was in pain. That I was in pain watching this game. That was a painful watch. Shout out to my man Chris Ice with the $5 super chat. He says, Big Dash, and the number one pick in the 2026 draft, the New York Giants select. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I'm fed up with this organization. It's been over 10 years. Hard to be a fan, period. Well said, Chris Ice. Well said. Tyrone Hall with the $2 super chat said, mock draft season started for the New York Giants. Unfortunately, that is also very, very true. I was mad when I went to PFF and saw that PFF gave the New York Giants the number one overall pick for the 2026 mock draft. I was mad at that. I was like, there's no way that the New York Giants are going to end up with the number one pick in 2026. And we are right on path for that. RHD Techie with the $1.99 super chat. And look at him. He's at a loss for words, just like me. He didn't even put a comment in. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let me get down. Look, I can't even keep up with the chat right now. The culture is better. What do you mean by that? What culture? What culture? Pim says it's everything, bro. Something about Giant culture for real. Yeah, we got a culture of losing. That's the culture. Culture of inconsistency. That's the culture. My man Mark Thompson says Giants have talent, but the coaching is letting them down. Again, we have a collection of good players, but no team. The coaching, the preparation, the strategy, the game plan, that's what makes a collection of good players a good team. And that's what we're lacking right now. You had guys that didn't make individual plays. Again, that was a fantastic catch by Wan'Dale Robinson. That might have been Russell Wilson's best catch. Best throw of the game. That might have been his best throw. And what do? Nothing. A big nothing burger at the end of the day. Did y'all feel it early, Pauls? Did y'all feel it earlier? As soon as you found out that Graham Gano was hurt, let me know how you guys felt. Like what went through your mind? Because I'm gonna tell you guys what went through my mind as soon as I saw that Graham Gano hurt himself in warm-ups. I said, wow, we don't have a kicker again. Shout out to my man Michael, said Giants won't win a game with our bad coaching. That's a fact. Listen, and then here's my thing though. Here's my thing. If you fire Brian Daboll, who do you make the head coach? Mike Kafka? He's not doing a good job either. You would have to fire a couple of people. But if you woke up in the morning tomorrow and saw that the New York Giants fired Brian Daboll, how many of you guys would be surprised? Let me know honestly. Would you guys be surprised or not? Let me know if you guys would be surprised or not. If you woke up in the morning and you saw that Brian Daboll was fired. Because right now, the way that I'm feeling, I would not be surprised if they fired him in the morning. Like, if you would have asked me that before the game, I would have been like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? They're not going to fire him. It's way too early. Russell Wilson just threw for 450. They're not going to fire him. No, after this performance. And when you look at Brian Daboll on the sideline, he don't know what to do. He's talking. Who are you talking to in the headset? Nobody that knows anything. I would not be surprised. I won't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. I won't be surprised. Where Luann at? I want to see what Luann says. Where you at, Luann? Luann says, Dash, we will be all right. Luann, I'm sorry. Tonight is not the night. You know I love you. Tonight is not the night for the positivity. No Kendrick Lamar voice. No, we gonna be all right. No, I'm not trying to hear that tonight. Maybe tomorrow after I sleep on this loss. Luann says, if Daboll was fired, then I quit. You would only have to quit for a little bit. You'll be right back once we actually start winning again. Word XXI with the $1.99 super chat says Daboll's first year with us was the fluke. That's what it's looking like. And you know what's crazy? John Mara absolutely jinxed him. John Mara was 100% right. He said you can go from Bono to Bozo in a New York minute. Bozo. Brian Daboll turned from Bono to Bozo, and John Mara called it. Jinxed him. And I'll say this too, man. When you look at these contracts that we have, you're looking at Andrew Thomas, you're looking at Dexter Lawrence, you're looking at Brian Burns, all these guys on the team, I don't want to waste their time anymore. I don't want to waste these players' time anymore. Get somebody in here that can do it. Find the right person to get in here and fix this mess of the New York Giants. You have, like my man Mark Thompson said, you got enough players out here. There's enough talent on this team. If it was coached better, if it was coached competently, the results will be better out there. You know it's crazy when you can throw for 450 yards and still lose a game. You know it's bad when you can have a walk-off touchdown with 25 seconds left in it and still lose the game. It's crazy. Shout out to my man Jonathan Pride with the $20 super chat. He says, it got to be Dave's, lost Wink, lost Daniel. Now look at everybody shining. Yeah, man. What did they say, man? When all else fails, what's the common denominator? We thought, or a lot of us, maybe not all of us, a portion of us thought that Daniel Jones was a common denominator. And for a while it was, because you figure this is you. Daniel Jones had Shermer. He had Judge. He had Brian Dable. It felt like Daniel Jones was a common denominator until he went over to Indianapolis, threw on the 17 jersey, and turned into Indiana Jones. And there's example after example where players left the New York Giants in a bunch of regimes. Look at Sterling Shepard. I watched the Tampa Bay game this morning. Sterling Shepard was making plays, and we got rid of him. Clinton Jones says, next time, Dash. Next time what, Clinton? Next time what? We got the Chargers next week. The Chargers are better than the Chiefs. The Chargers are better than Dallas. The Chargers are better than the Commanders. And home advantage, there's no that's the part that sucks too. With all of this losing that the New York Giants have been doing, there is no such thing as home field advantage for the Giants anymore. When they started that game and they panned the stadium, it was so much red in that stadium. My wife said, where you guys playing tonight? I said, we playing in New York. We playing in Jersey. It's a lot of Chiefs fans out there. Yeah. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a home advantage for the New York Giants anymore. That's how bad we've been. That's the situation that we're in. Luann, I'm pissed too. I'm glad that you're mad. We got to figure out who to be mad at. Dable doesn't get any more chances, man. Dable doesn't get any more chances. Michael Turl Willinger. It's a heck of a name, brother. I'll be so happy if they fired Dable. A lot of people feel the same way. It's only that Kendrick screaming over and over again. That's a fact. This is just ugly, man. The vibes is crazy. Yeah. Where'd he go? Dwayne, what's going on, Dwayne? Talk to me, Dwayne. Don't worry about Jones. He hasn't played in prime time yet, and Jonathan Taylor has been running like crazy. Guess what? The last time Daniel Jones played pretty well, he had a pretty good running back. And that's what's going on in Indianapolis. He got a Pro Bowl to all-pro level running back. He got an offensive line that can protect him, and he got a set of wide receivers. That's it. The crazy thing about it over here, we got a decent offensive line. You would think we had a decent offensive line. We got wide receivers. We got decent running backs. We got a pretty good defense. We just don't got the coaches. Both sides of the ball, man. For the third straight week, complimentary football was non-existent. Even when we scored it, we struggled. We scored, missed the field goal. Missed the extra point. Nothing was good about this game at all. Nothing. Yesterday, somebody said, no moral victories. I think my man Tyrone said that, I'm tired of the moral victories. Yeah. Just give me the regular victories. I'm sick of trying to find the silver lining. And you guys know me. I'm super positive. I'm super optimistic. It takes a while for me to get down. And I think I'm down. I really do. And for the people that do know, because there's a bunch of people in here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button too. But for the people that don't know, once I hit that level where it gets dark, that's when the negativity comes out. And then, some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy when I'm negative. Some people enjoy when I'm negative. Some people are happy when I'm positive. But it's getting dark fast. Last week I saw the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit with that offensive performance. I don't see that light at the end of the tunnel anymore. Maybe Jackson Dart can save us. Not save the season. Maybe Jackson Dart saves how we feel about the future of the New York Giants. Maybe, but I don't even know about that. Don't know about that. Hold on. 0550 197 says your top 3 head coaches next year, Dash. Brian Flores, and hopefully he brings in a good offensive coordinator. But here's the thing, though. Brian Flores still got an active lawsuit against the NFL. We already burned that bridge once with Brian Flores. The New York Giants need a defensive head coach, period. Maybe throw us back into the 4-3-2, man. Maybe do that. I don't know, though, man. The way this roster is looking like we're forced to play this 3-4. Possibly. But we'll see what happens. Shout out to my man Joseph with the $5 super chat. Says, why bring Dart in and out? It makes no sense unless he was going to run an RPO in the red zone. That's what I'm saying. Just because it worked last week doesn't mean it was going to work this week. You know what the crazy thing was? When he came in the second time and he got 2 straight plays, I thought maybe they were actually going to let him throw the ball. And they didn't. Who are you fooling? And the other thing is this also, we keep running motion knowing that they're in zone. Kansas City didn't react to anything that we did because we weren't a threat at all. We were not a threat. They weren't. Steve Smack, that defense was not worried about us at all. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall with the $2 super chat. Says, keep telling the truth regardless, Dash. That's what I'm telling you what I'm seeing. I'm telling you how I feel. These are my real emotions. Joseph Wilcox, $2 super chat says, Rex Ryan defense. Possibly next year. I don't think anybody steps into this mess right now and changes this defense completely. I will say this, though. The defense was not the worst part of this game. Because despite what the score looked like at the end, the defense held us in the game. The defense gave up 6 points in two quarters. It was the offense that let everybody. I think the offense holds the majority of the blame in this game. What happens? What happens when you let people remain, when you let Patrick Mahomes just feel comfortable back there? They were saying in real time, you give Patrick Mahomes 6 seconds. You give Patrick Mahomes 6 seconds. Bad things happen. Bad things happen when you give Patrick Mahomes that kind of time. Bad things happen when you give any quarterback that amount of time. We've seen it for 3 weeks now. Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott. Now Patrick Mahomes. We were a little bit more aggressive, but we weren't getting home today. A little bit more aggressive. But we still couldn't get home today. They talk about how athletic this defensive front is, and I believe it. I still believe it. But I just think we're not playing our players correctly. Like, I don't trust Bowen. I don't trust Brian Dable. I don't trust Mike Kafka. If I don't trust my head coach, my DC, and my OC, what other hope do I have? None. It's crazy to me right now. Okay, Joseph Wilcox says with the $5 super chat says, Rex for head coach next year. Now, let me ask you this question serious. You like Rex that much that you'll make him the head coach? He's been out of coach. He's not been a coach for a while. I don't know. I've seen people talk about John Gruden. Nah. You got to bring in somebody from this millennia of football, a new wave, forward-thinking, creative on both offense or defense, depending on which way you're leaning as far as a head coach, offense or defense. Somebody that's creative, young, refreshing, new, relatable, has a clue, can make adjustments in real time, who doesn't need to stop and watch the tape to understand what he needs to fix. Because I see football games, I watch games all day today. That was one thing about the Giants playing tonight. I got a chance to see a lot of teams play today. I think I saw at least eight games today. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, I seen at least 8 games today. And the one thing that I noticed with all of these teams, even with the teams that lost today, it looks like NFL football. Whether it's offense or defense, it looks like NFL football. When I watch the New York Giants play, especially a game like it was tonight, everything seems like it was harder than it had to be. Harder than it had to be. Shout out to my man Off Broadway 718. What's going on Off Broadway? He says, "Dear Jesse Mentor," yeah, that's another name. "Can you come coach the New York Football Giants?" That's another name. Defensive coordinator Jesse Mentor. That's another guy. My man Joseph with the $2 super chat. He says he doesn't take any crap like Parcells. No, I get it. I understand the attitude that you want the toughness, and that should that should rub off on the players. If you bring in a guy like Rex Ryan, now I get that. I understand that. I'm just saying outside of that, you still need to create, that new wave, that new energy, creativeness. I don't know if Rex Ryan has that still, but right now, to me, anybody's better than what we got right now. And that's the God's honest truth for me right now. You can name a lot of people, and I might just say yes at the end of the day. Except for like Mike McDaniel or somebody like that. What's going on, Frank? Frank says, as soon as Thomas left the game, the offense couldn't do. Yeah. And that's crazy, too, because yesterday I was sitting here talking about I don't think Andrew Thomas was ready as far as the in good enough shape. Andrew Thomas went out there and showed exactly why he is who he is, Andrew Thomas. And I got to take that L myself, because just yesterday I'm sitting there talking about, you think he's going to be ready? Just this morning I was saying that. And the funny thing is, shout out to Tim with Online Big Blue. He was saying it this morning. I put a comment in the live stream talking about, well, he was saying that, if we're going to put Andrew Thomas out there, we're going to put him out there early, put him on the snap count, see how he looks, let him get his sea legs. I wish we would have left him in the game. And that's another thing too, man. Like, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to put him on the snap count. I would have asked Andrew Thomas, hey, you got some more snaps in you. Because I'm seeing him, the camera pans to Andrew Thomas. He's sitting there talking to Aaron Stinney. Like he looked like he could have played a little bit more. My man Pim says, Flo, talking about Brian Flores. Flo would have been dope, for real. Yeah, listen, I was on the Flores train too. I wanted him over Brian Dable back, but I didn't. Once we signed Brian Dable, I understood why we did it. I expected something different, and we actually saw that in the first year. Brian Dable did more with less in 2022 than he did right now. You could say, Wink and Saquon Barkley played a big role. Also, Daniel Jones, played a big role in 2022. But at the end of the day, that roster was less than. But it seemed like they were better coached. Seemed like the planning was better. They knew exactly what they had, and they knew, okay, Daniel Jones was going to have to use his legs, and they did that. This year, it seems to me like, okay, we know what Russ can do. Russ likes to throw the moon ball. Speaking of the moon ball, that one moon ball to Malik Neighbors, the one that hung in the air, it shouldn't have hung in the air that long. The one where the Chiefs player got hurt and Malik Neighbors got hurt. At that point in time, it seemed like he was just throwing the ball just to be throwing. Okay, let's see if Malik Neighbors can save us, type of deal. And once that started happening, I'm like, oh yeah, we're cooked. We're cooked, because it looks like, okay, Russ is going through his progressions, nothing's happening. Malik Neighbors is down there. Let's just throw the ball to Malik Neighbors. Never mind that he's double covered. Let's just throw the ball to Malik Neighbors, and it seems like that should be a good idea. But it was not working either. You can't just depend on Malik Neighbors all the time. I understand he's your best player, especially on offense, but you have to build an offense around him, because that's the number one thing that these teams are going to try to take away. Malik Neighbors. That man had, what did he have, 1 catch or 2 catches? I can't remember now. Was it 2 catches? He had 2 catches in the game. Malik Neighbors had 2 catches in the game. What do you have? 6 targets probably? And I might be wrong. Again, I wasn't checking the stat line while I was watching this game. I was slowly breaking down. Hold on. Shout out to Lil Bulldozer with the $1.99 super chat. He said, would you go after Mike Tomlin if they move on? Are you kidding me? You about to get me thrown out my own house. First of all, let me answer your question. I would take Mike Tomlin in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. If y'all don't know, my wife is a Steelers fan. You trying to get me beat up. Come on, man. Just a guy with the $5 super chat. He says the D is thumbs down. Trash. First rounders in our front seven, but letting 150 yards. Running backs cooked us and ran you over. Oh yeah, you talk. Oh yeah, I got you now. Yeah, he was getting ran over a little bit. I need you to get a little bit stronger, Carter. Like I said, there was a couple of plays out there that we left on the field on defense that you're like, the Bobby Okereke thing stands out. The deep pass, that was the pass interference on Andrew Phillips. We left that on the field. Like Carter got to make that play on Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. I'm getting into fights with people all week talking about how elite of an edge rusher Carter is. There were plays left on the field tonight. Big plays. And Carter left one. Bobby Okereke left one. Dexter Lawrence left one. Andrew Phillips left one. Actually, Andrew Phillips left about a half a dozen. I don't know where Javon Holland is. Where's Javon Holland? Is New York Giants players on the back of milk cartons right now? Dexter Lawrence, I love him to death. Dexter Lawrence is on a milk carton right now. Paulson and Debo had a couple of good breakups. Almost could have had an interception twice. Those are the plays that you left on the field. Those are game-changing plays. It's not good, man. Shout out to Off Broadway with the $5 super chat. He says, with Dart being the focus, let's see about Adam or Stenovich. Adam Stenovich. Okay. Now you're talking offense. Again, I have not dug into the bag of possible coaching candidates. I'm gonna be honest with everybody. There's a couple of names that we know, like Mentor is a name that's come across before. I haven't really looked into Stenovich, but there's a couple of guys that are going to be in that coaching cycle, that hiring cycle that the New York Giants need to look at. And again, at the end of the day, the New York Giants are 0-3. But also at the end of the day, the fan base, me, you, everybody, we feel like it's over. We feel like it's over. Could they? Is it possible? Is there a chance that the New York Giants can turn it around? There's always a chance, but it doesn't feel that way. Why? Because we don't have any hope. Why? Because the coaching staff, we can't trust them. And that's the bad thing about it. Shout out to Kenya with the $5 super chat. He says, fire everybody, Shane, Dable, Kafka, shoot Bowen, cook the interns, scouts, toll booth collectors, security guards, everybody. It's the coaching. Look at DJ 3-0. That's the one thing. Daniel Jones having success right now doesn't make things any better. Any better. It makes things look worse. That's an indictment on Brian Dable. Joe Shane as well. You spent all this money, but where did the money go? Where are the results for the money that you spent? That's the bad part. Nobody's contributing right now. Nobody's turning these games into victories. Where did the money go? Bad investments. And that's crazy too, because I'm guilty. I looked at what Shane did in the offseason, the players that he brought in, the people that he drafted. I looked at this roster on paper, and I said, you know what? It looks good on paper. We should be competitive on paper. And I kept saying paper. And people kept telling me to calm down. You know, we got to see these guys on the field. We got to see this on the field. Even Brian Burns said, thank you for all of the love and support, but we got to do something on the field. We haven't done anything yet. And here we are 3 weeks later, and we still haven't done anything yet. I'm tired of it, man. Shout out to C Cuts with the $9.99 super chat. He says, Dash, what the F do we need? He says, please be honest. This team is awful. Coming all of the way from Los Angeles. This is horrible. I don't know what to think. I'm telling you what to think. Everybody got to go. I'm sick and tired of trying to point out one mistake. Everybody got to go. Cut it all out. You can't leave a trace of it. You can't leave a trace of it in the building. Everybody got to go. And some people don't even deserve the blame. But because they're a part of this regime, they got to go. And you know what? I might be eating these words in 2 weeks if the New York Giants somehow miraculously run off a couple of wins and we're 3-3. But I don't even believe that. That's high hopes. So C Cuts. That's my honest opinion. That's how I'm feeling right now. That everybody got to go. Period. Raw reaction right after the game. That's how I'm feeling. Shout out to my man LBT E49. Shout out to Vauxhall in the building. Hometown in the building. He says, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. That's 100%. That's 100%. We've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. That's a fact. That's probably one of the best ways to put it. And that's why it hurts so bad, pause. Is because everybody we've seen this before. Nothing is changing. We're all insane. For the people that think it was going to change, me included, it's insanity. Thinking that something is going to change, but we did not address anything. We didn't change anything. So to expect a different result is insanity. Off Broadway with the $2 super chat. He says, hire a director of football operations. You was watching the same thing I was watching. Because I saw that come up. Let the director of football operations hire the GM, and then the director of football operations and that GM hire the head coach. We was watching the same thing. Damn, my Giants, man. Every year the Giants do this to me, man. Every year the Giants do this to us. Idle Gray 88 says, optimistic Giants fans are mentally insane. Ignore them. They clearly don't watch the games. I'm optimistic. I am mentally insane. I go through cycles every year. And usually I don't get here till about October, November. October, November is when I usually get to this point. It's the third week of the season where I absolutely go off the deep end. It is what it is. Mark Thompson says those 2 interceptions were horrible, all forced. Okereke can't hold on to the ball. Giants had opportunities for turnovers. They did, and they didn't capitalize on it. That's the part that's nothing goes right. Butker kicked the field goal, right? It hit the uprights. It hit the bar and still went in. Well, like, if that's not a curse, I don't know what is. We got hexed, man. Somebody put some hoodoo on us for real. For real. Michael said, I'm insane liking the Giants. No, man, you're just a fan and you're loyal. And that's what it is. We got to go through the dark. The ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's the weight that we have on our shoulders. Some people jump ship and leave and go root for somebody else. No matter how bad it gets, I can't do that. And I won't do that. That's not my DNA. So if that means I gotta suffer as a New York Giants fan, it is what it is. But I'm definitely not jumping ship. Well, I'll complain. I'll talk trash. I'll call for heads and stuff like that. But I still bleed blue at the end of the day. But yeah, they make it very, very hard, pause, to want to root for this team. And that's the crazy part. Because every year you still have people that want to root for this team. You still have people showing up to the games. I'm pretty sure somebody put a deposit on an airplane right after this game, and you're going to see a banner fly over the stadium next week. against the Chargers. I'm pretty sure somebody's flying a plane over that building, and it's going to say, Mr. Mara, still not fixed yet. That's probably what we're going to see next week. Another plane with another banner flying over MetLife Stadium saying, Mr. Mara is still not fixed. It should say, Mr. Mara, you're a part of the problem as well. You had a chance to clean house before they got a chance to draft a quarterback. A lot of people said that last year. We saw Mr. Mara say, well, I'm sick and tired of in this defense getting or offenses move the ball up and down the field on us on defense. That's the only problem he saw last year. Never mind what the offense looked like last year. John Mara was so focused on the defense and the defensive line, and they made no changes. Actually, I'm lying. They fired Jerome Henderson. Who the hell cares about Jerome Henderson now? And look what happened. No matter the people that you fire, the players that you get rid of, no matter how many people leave, the New York Giants look the same. Whether it's Pat Shurmur, whether it's Joe Judge, whether it's Brian Daboll now, it all looks the same. Like my man said, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. Here's my deal. Push the fast forward button. If it was Madden, hit the simulation button. We know what's going to happen right now. You know what they're going to do. Right now, if a coach does not get fired tomorrow, you know what's going to happen? Russell Wilson becomes, justified, becomes the guy that the sacrificial lamb. It's going to be Russell Wilson. They're going to say, you know what? We're going to start Dart, and then what's going to happen? Some of us might be fooled for the moment. Okay, well, they're going to put Dart, and let's see how this goes. We'll see how this goes, but guess what? You're not changing the common denominator. So even if you put Dart out there next week, you might get the same results. It might look a little bit different. Maybe Dart's able to run for a couple of first downs or something like that. But until this game plan changes, the route concepts, the preparation, until we start to execute, it's going to look the same. Bad coaching from the top down. Bad organization from the top down. From John Mara all the way down to the lunch lady or the lunch men, whatever, whoever's out there serving lunches and breakfasts and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to burn it all down and start over again. And maybe that's what the New York Giants are going to do. We'll see what happens, though. It's already tomorrow. I'm ready. I'm ready for some news. I took PTO. I'm off tomorrow from work. And I took that PTO in the hopes that we'd be celebrating a win. But in the back of my mind, I also took that PTO because I felt like I'm going to need a day to recover. It's crazy to me. Rogue Shadow says, and there goes Devontae Smith for the Eagles touchdown. Remember when we liberated him from being ruined, y'all hands at the draft 20. Yeah. But the whole thing about that is this, though. We leaked the news that we wanted Devontae Smith. And then even after they got Devontae Smith, there was still some people on the board that we should have took. If I'm not mistaken, that same year, that was the Micah Parsons year. That was the Rashawn Slater year, right? If I'm not mistaken, that was 2020, right? Right? Or am I bugging? Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox with the $5 super chat. He says, I was mad when they didn't hire Flores instead of Daboll. Joe Shane showed his arrogance on Hard Knocks, letting Saquon go. That's a fact. Lil Bulldozer with the $4.99 super chat says, how long do you think it will be till Mara tells how angry he was the time last year? Yeah, it's crazy. And then and why is Daboll so bad at managing any kind of injury? That's a fact. I want to say this too, though. Remember Hard Knocks, last year, the whole debacle when we really knew that these guys didn't know what they were doing. And that kind of fueled the fire of getting these guys out of here. The New York Giants, after Wink left, the New York Giants said, we can't stop the run. And we saw a video where it was Brian Daboll And Joe Shane, Brian Dable was looking at his phone. And he said, look at this guy. Look at the grade. Look at the run defensive grade. He's good at stopping the run. Look what PFF, look at he was talking about Shane Bowen. He picked up a phone, looked at PFF, and picked his coach from PFF. His defensive coordinator, he picked from PFF. And then everybody knew that the guy that was really running that defense in Tennessee was Mike Vrabel. And that's what a lot of people said too. But we still gave that guy a chance. And then after he put together the defensive performance last year that he did, they decided, and we're not going to fire Shane Bowen. Why we're not going to? Because we don't like what it looks like. We don't like the message that it puts out. So we're going to keep Shane Bowen, but everybody wants their pound of flesh. So let's fire Jerome Henderson. Meanwhile, Jerome Henderson had nothing to do with how that team was looking. That's what he did. He picked the defensive coordinator off of PFF. I can do that. I got a PFF membership. I can go ahead and pick a coach out of thin air. That's not what the professionals do. I'm not a professional. You're doing what the amateurs do. Pick up the phone. Call around. Watch the tape. Figure out who's the guy that you need for this defense. Look at your personnel. See what type of scheme best fits the personnel. Do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to sit back? Do you want to play man? Do you want to play zone? You went and drafted an entire defense through free agency as well. You signed the entire defense for a man scheme. And then went and turned around and got a defensive coordinator that runs a zone scheme. Amateur hour. Amateur hour at 1925 Giants Way or Giants Drive, whatever it's called. Amateur hour from the top down. Low Bulldozer says, how long do you think it will be for Martell's house? Oh, I just read that. Sorry. C Cuts with the $1.99 super chat. He says, to think I was going to the game this year, what a fool. Listen. It was a couple of games that I had circled that I wanted to go to. And I didn't do it. Because I said, you know what? Let's see how these guys look first before I go ahead and put some money down on some tickets and, pay for either airfare or rental cars and hotel stays and all that other stuff. I said, let's see how these guys, I'm glad I didn't spend any of my money. And I feel bad for the people that did spend their money. For the people that are season ticket holders, you should be the most upset with the product on the field because you guys spend your hard-earned money in this time of inflation. You go to the game and a medium Pepsi costs you $7. A hot dog costs you $10. You spend your hard-earned money. You pay $100 for parking. You deal with the traffic there and back. And that's the product that you get. And then you wonder why the fans are booing. The biggest message that the fans can send to the New York Giants is to not show up to the games. And then, and only then, maybe we'll see some changes. Because right now, at the end of the day, you know what keeps John Mara comfortable? That big better money that he gets from ticket sales, from the TV deals, and all that other stuff. From you guys buying drinks, sodas, and food at the games for the parking. That's what he gets to go home to. A big bag of money. Meanwhile, the fans, we can sit there and suffer. We're tied into this team emotionally, and we're not getting what we're owed. The Giants owe the fans more than what we're seeing right now. Way more than that. I don't want to. At least the players get paid to play handsomely too. The fans, we don't got a 6-figure check after the game like the players do. No, we just get to go home and be mad and have our weeks ruined. And then we go to work and gotta walk past coworkers that are fans of other teams and get laughed at. Or try to avoid conversations because our team is so bad. I lived in the Bay Area for 10 years, surrounded by San Francisco 49er fans. And every Monday, outside of the years that, obviously, when we got the Super Bowl, the last Super Bowl. But I'm just saying, I got to hear 49er fans talk about how good the 49ers were back then. We're talking the Harbaugh years. We're talking the Shanahan years. For you guys, wherever you guys live, some of you guys live in the tri-state area. Some of you guys are spread out all over the place. You already know how it feels when you go to work Monday morning after a Giants loss. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and a few other people. But I'm tired of it, man. I got a coworker right now that's a Raiders fan. He can't even say much now, too, because he's a Raiders fan. Shout out to my guy if he's watching. Because he lost too. But I'm just saying, at least they got one victory. We're 0-3. How many teams are 0-3? What's it like, 4 of us now? It's us. It's the Texans. Who else is 0-3 right now? Even Carolina won today. Is it just 2 of us left? Maybe it's just 2 of us left. I don't know. Let me see what you guys are saying, man. And I'm going to wrap this thing up. Intruders in the chat. But who's the intruders? Listen, they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. If you want to chase them out, you can chase them out. They can do whatever they want. I'm so pissed off at the New York Giants. I don't care about anybody else making fun of my team right now. If they got jokes, that's one thing. If they being disrespectful, that's another. If they being super disrespectful, then we can get them up out of here. You let me know who it is, and I'll boot them. But if they in there, they're throwing light jabs and making fun of the New York Giants losing, it is what it is. In order for other people, in order for other fans from other teams to not have jokes, the New York Giants got to start winning. That's what happened. This is what we got to deal with as Giants fans. We got to see fans of other teams jump in our spaces and talk trash to us about the team. Like, it is what it is, man. That ain't our fault. Giants got to play better. My man, the Bronx to Philly says clean house like Washington did. The only problem is you're not going to get a new owner. You're not going to get a new owner. John Mara needs to be out of the building. Out of the building. You got a lot of money. We don't need to see your face. We don't need you poking around the building and sticking your head in office doors and stuff like that. We don't need to see none of that. We don't need you hovering over people, micromanaging, nothing like that. Enjoy your money. Find somebody that can run this team. Be like my man said, director of football operations. Find whoever that person is, and you get out of the office. Go home. Go to the golf course. Go get a pedicure, manicure somewhere. I don't know, but get out of 1925. Get the football people in here. I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to go watch the presser to see what Brian Dable had to say, but I really don't care because, again, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. I want to see what the players have to say, but we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see Malik Neighbors in front of his locker. I don't know, man. We got to do better. We're better than this. Bling bling, because he got a mouth full of diamonds, neck full of diamonds, and all this other stuff. Dexter Lawrence is going to look all crazy, bunch of sweat bubbles on his bald head. We've seen this thing before, right? Right. Russell Wilson is going to see how, we got to play better. I got to play better. He's going to put it all on his shoulders. All that stuff gets old. Like, I love to see accountability, but it doesn't even matter anymore because nothing is changing. Why do I care about what you got to say after the game? Why do I care what you have to say, Dexter Lawrence? Why do I care what you have to say, Malik Neighbors? Why do I care what you have to say, Brian Dable? I don't want to hear it anymore. I know how this movie ends, man. Danny boy, I'm not lying. Go back and watch the Hard Knocks. HBO actually HBO just pulled it too. But I'm pretty sure if you go on Twitter, you'll see the video. If you type up Brian Dable, Joe Schoen, PFF, you might see the video. I'm not even lying. They said we need to be able to stop the run. Tennessee had good run stopping grades. That guy Shane Bowen. Let's go ahead and call Shane Bowen. And what he do? Hey Shane, how you doing? Yeah, Brian Dable. Like, are you kidding me? That's how the conversation started. A man said Vrabel stinks too. It is what it is. Yeah, listen. Patriots are struggling too. Idle Gray says cleaning house is pointless unless Maris sells. I hear you. He got to step to the side. He's not going to sell. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is what the NFL did in the 70s, where the NFL had to step in when the Mara brothers was beefing, and they had to step in and put somebody in charge, independently. And then the next thing you know, the 80s came and we won 2 Super Bowls. Well, 1 Super Bowl and 1 in the 90s. But come on, man. Lazy interviews. That's a fact. We fired the right guy. Coaches got to go. What else we saying in here? Yeah, that's a fact. Off-Broadway 718 says, good night, G fam. Y'all sleep tight. Listen, I'm not going to be sleeping at all. I'm going to be upset and I'm going to wake up mad. And again, the bad thing is, I believe when I wake up in the morning, there's not going to be any changes. There's going to be a lot of people saying that there should be changes, but there won't be any changes. There won't be any changes. And the bye week is so far out into the season that it's not going to be any changes. You know what they're going to say? Well, we were right there. Couple of bad plays. We got to clean things up. No, we don't need to clean things up. We need to clean things out. I don't know, man. I don't know. Michael says, Dash, please don't waste your money on Giants this year. Listen, Michael, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Today was the final straw in that. The closest game to me anyway this year was the Raiders game, and that's one of the games I wanted to go to. I ain't got to worry about that anymore. I'm not going to that game. And just to think that I was actually thinking about flying in for a home game. I'm not doing that. If I lived at MetLife, I wouldn't go watch a game right now. That's how I feel. You could tell me everything is free. The parking's free. The tickets are free. The concessions are free. I'm not going to this. I'm not showing any kind of support to this team because they're not giving me anything to cheer for, and that's the bad part about it, and I hate it. Listen, man, it's what? It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I have nothing good to say at all. Shout out to my man McCann says I'm in Eagle Country. I already know what it is if you're in Eagle Country. Shout out to my man OMG. He's another Giants content creator over there on Instagram. He's in Eagle Country too. He knows what it is. Shout out to my man Sneaky G. He's in the Dallas area. There's a lot of us in enemy territory. A lot of us. But it's bad, man. I don't know what to say, man. Hopefully something happens where we can actually cheer for this team. Shout out to my man C Cuts, $1.99 super chat. He says, even if Dart balls, what confidence do we have? I don't have any confidence right now. I'm going to have to see Dart actually play well with this offensive scheme and execution. Maybe he brings a certain type of energy to the New York Giants, but at the end of the day, I don't see Dart taking us to the promised land this year. Not with this regime and this coaching. And that's the part that sucks. Because if they do clean house and they do select a coach, you got to hope that that coach actually likes Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? You got to hope that he likes Jackson Dart and that he's willing to give him a chance. Because the next head coach that comes in here, I want him to have full control. Because we already know when Brian Daboll got hired and when Joe Schoen got hired, they made some concessions. They hired Joe Schoen because they said, well, we're not giving up on Daniel Jones. That came out of Mara's mouth. Well, we're not ready to give up on Daniel Jones. Are you willing to work with Daniel Jones? And Joe Schoen, seeing this job opportunity as an assistant GM, like, hey, I'm gonna be able to be a GM. He said, yeah, you know what? We can work with Daniel Jones. And they went on for the coaching search and said, let me find somebody that can work with Daniel Jones. And maybe that was the final straw in the whole Brian Flores versus Brian Daboll thing. Because we already saw how Brian Flores was in Miami with Tua. Once Brian Flores realized that Tua wasn't it, he was ready to move on from Tua. But instead, they moved on from Brian Flores. And we see how that thing worked out. I need a coach with a backbone that's willing to stand up to this owner and also to whoever the GM was. Now, you want the coach and the GM, to work together. But at the end of the day, you just can't have a bunch of yes men in the building. And that's what the New York Giants have right now. A bunch of yes men. And until we fix that, it's going to be a problem for us as fans trying to root for this team. 100%. 100%. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox with the $5 super chat. Tyrone Hall and myself have suffered through the 70s. How do the Bills fans feel? Get there and fail. Listen. I don't even know how the Bills fans do it, but at least right now, they have a product on the field that they're confident in. And they know that any given time they can make a Super Bowl run. I know that about the Buffalo Bills. Even though they haven't gotten there yet, they're always right there in the mix. Big difference from what the New York Giants are dealing with. When Buffalo Bills fans say that I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, people say, okay, how you guys got one of the best quarterbacks. When New York Giants fans say that they're New York Giants fans, people laugh. And that's the problem. That's really the problem. But I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. I'm gonna try to get through a couple more comments, but I'm gonna lock this thing down. Again, it's almost 1:00 in the morning for a lot of people, and I want to respect people's time. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, trash can juice, that's a fact. Dumpster, just a dumpster fire, man. Dumpster fire. C Cut says it's over for us. This team is so washed. 5+ years for us. 5? No. It's been over a decade. It's been over a decade. Pim says, stay up, bro, be easy. Now, that's a fact, man. You know what? I'm exhausted. You know what's crazy, though? At least last week, I was cheering out of my mind. It was a roller coaster ride, but they gave me something to cheer about. I felt bad from the first quarter on in this game. There was not one part of this game where I felt like we had a chance. And for the majority of the game, we were one score away. 3-0, 6-0, 6-6. 9-6. Never once did I feel confident about this team today. It is what it is. Trisha K says, yo, Dash, what up? I'm going to the Chargers game. They better keep it close. You might want to sell those tickets. And I hate saying that. But it is what it is. DeMarco, what's going on, DeMarco? I saw you was pretty busy in the chat tonight. Thank you for the love and support, man. He says, We are a week 3, and we are already talking about starting Dart, getting a new head coach, DC, OC, and what round we're picking in this upcoming draft. Unfortunately, yes. And until proven otherwise, right now, I don't see why. Oh, listen, man, we're the game is still fresh. The loss is still fresh. Obviously, tomorrow I'm going to see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. I'm going to be looking for some news to see what happens. But I already know there's nothing to go back and watch. There's nothing to go to the all 22 and watch. If there's any silver lining in this game at all, or any light at the end of the tunnel, Andrew Thomas looks good. That's it. Andrew Thomas looks good. Hang my hat on that. Man. But hopefully everybody has a good night. You know, I'll see everybody when I see everybody. I don't know when I'm going to do another video. I got the War Room with the Chargers on Wednesday, but I'm most likely going to do another reaction, non-live reaction, a quick recap of this game too. Probably drop that sometime tomorrow. Hopefully you guys can tune in and watch that. But at the end of the day, the New York Giants are now 0-3. With no real hope in sight. And until we see something else, I don't blame anybody else. Mark Thompson says Scat had 60 rushing yards and 60 receiving yards. Add him to the bright spot with Andrew Thomas. We said that too, Damon. Damon says, hell no, Dable going to say he has to look at the tape. I already know that's what he's going to say. And I already know that's what he said because that's already recorded. I'm going to watch the YouTube video, after I end this live, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to say this again. Thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's growing. We just hit 9,000 subscribers. Thanks to every one of you guys out there showing that love and support. This channel is growing, and it's all because of you. Hopefully you guys feel, and we have these streams and we have these lives, you feel like it's a family because we are family. Big Blue Nation. We're Giants fans. We win together, we lose together, we suffer together, we feel joy together at the end of the day. And right now it's been bad for the New York Giants. But at the end of the day, you know what? Life goes on. As a Giants fans, we've been losing for a long time. Life goes on. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation.